TLO, what's poppin'? We are on Twitch. We are not live, but you can leave a like, comment, subscribe, turn on your post notification bells. Let's continue to grow the family from Chicago to the UK, man. Right behind me, you see it, little warning screen. There's nothing going on in this video, but it's just there. Don't forget, man, twitch.com is where you can watch any of the live streams, previous lives. Usernames at the bottom of the screen. We also got a Patreon where we watch stuff that we do not watch on YouTube or cannot go on YouTube. There's a large selection over there. It's like 1,000 videos that none of y'all have seen over here. You know, it's like $2. Talk to me. This is TheeLitOne. I spent 30 days in London. Here's my honest review. I like watching these, but I know my experience, because I am who I am, is going to be completely different. But, you know, talk to me anyway.
Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. No copyright infringement intended. All rights belong to their respective owners.
Humbly.
Is where almost everybody from my home country, Nigeria, wants to move to.
You advise me to come here?
I would say yes and I would say no. Yes if you have a plan, but no if there is no concrete plan.
I've heard so many things about it. Some are great and some are not so great. So I decided to go spend 30 days in London to kind of like see what the hype is all about.
Sometimes the food does not have flavor, not the same as in Africa.
It has a lot of opportunities.
Damn, they said London don't season their food.
So it's a blessing to be in the UK.
And this video is my honest review about my experience in London. Welcome to London! On arrival in London, the first thing I noticed was that everything is so damn expensive. The first hotel I stayed in cost me around £150. And it wasn't even a hotel, it was a hostel. The size
per night? $150 a night's not bad. You come to Miami, Dallas, Chicago, you looking at like $250, depending when you come.
Of the room was so tiny. Like if I stretch my hand, I'll be touching both walls. So
they got you paying $150 for this jail cell? Oh,
after staying here for like 3 days, to cut costs, I decided I need to go and stay with my friend, Tomiwa, who lives in Wembley. Wembley is most popularly known for the Wembley Stadium, which is an arena where a lot of sporting events and also music events happen. Wembley is a highbrow area with a lot of high street shops and apartments.
It's been getting increasingly expensive to be in London. I remember when I moved here, to get an apartment, you have to participate in an auction, and then the winner of the auction actually gets the apartment. But recently it's gone worse because the prices are...
What? So when I go to London, if I decide to like live I gotta be in an auction? That's the cap.
Everything, including rent, has gone up significantly. The bidding process has gotten even more aggressive. So if you're not there on time, you lose your apartment.
How much do you pay for rent?
When I stayed here, it was about 100.
For what kind of apartment?
It was a flat in someone's backyard.
To explore London and to give you guys a much diverse view of the city, I reached out to Poetic Sparkles, who is a friend of mine. She was born in London and has lived in London all her life. And we decided to itemize places to explore in London in one day.
She paid $1,100 for a shed in somebody's backyard?
First off, let's get some coffee.
I gotta see it.
I want to try matcha. I fell in love with matcha when I was in New York. And since then, I've just been on a matcha spree. It cost 10 euros, over 10,000 naira to drink 2 coffees. So I'm about to give Poetic Sparkles, the person behind the camera, she's about to try it for the first time. I don't know what it's made from, but it's just really, really dope.
It's nice. It has a little bit of a...
I had one of these, but like the tea version. It was fire. I like it too, but I forgot how to order it. Because, you know, I feel like it's like a secret of how to order things. I don't know. I'm not from this coffee or Starbucks or wherever you order coffee from era. I ain't ordered my first anything from a coffee shop until like 5 years ago. And since then it's been not a lot.
powdery taste. It's not sweet. It just tastes like tea, but green. I like it.
One of the best ways to move around London is actually by the train. I think it costs like £3 per trip. Depends on where you're going to be dropping off. But that's currently where I stay, Wembley Park there. And this is the train station I'm always coming in through. Clap. When I got into London, I started using Uber, but within the first 3-4 days, I noticed that my wallet started to vibrate. So I decided that I need to go and get an Oyster card, and I started using the train.
My wallet started to vibrate. That's funny. That's good.
So a train looks like in London. Much better than New York's train. Much cleaner, less crazy people. I think for somebody who has traveled to so many countries, I would say that London's train is one of the best I've ever been in. It's also one of the best ways to move around London because it has so many connections. You can travel outside London without leaving the train station by just going from one train station to the other. The only thing is that depending on how far you travel across the zones of London, the prices can go up from there. I ended up paying £12 on some trips because I traveled the whole length of the train. One of the things you need to do is to remember to tap out, because if you don't tap out in London, they're going to charge you the highest maximum fee for whatever zone that you are in.
Oh, so y'all train operates like our metro. Like all of that tapping, going through zones, like we don't have that in the regular train. The regular train is like it could get you through the city and within the city, but it's one set price. It doesn't increase or decrease how far you go. It's that one price. You don't have to tap out. Now, if you're taking the Metro, there's a security guard that walks around and armed officers, and they see how far you go on zones, and they charge you accordingly.
Try food from any part of the world. This is Italian food. And we just walked just some meters and we're already trying out. It's like I'm in Italy now, I'm trying Italian food. London has over 16,000 restaurants. Today you might be feeling like you want to eat something from Italy. Oh, Italian food. Tomorrow you can feel like you want to eat.
Don't open no restaurants in London. It's too much competition.
Something from Africa, you try something from Africa. Next tomorrow, you might feel like you want something from America, you try it out. Your taste buds can stretch as far and as wide as they want. And somebody like me who loves food, sign me up. Guys, after walking around London for a bit, finally found this Caribbean spot here. We're currently alongside River Thames, and this is kind of like a very touristy area that has a lot of stuff that we can actually buy. A meal and a drink for 2 people would cost you around 70 euros at a nice spot like this.
It's normal. Yeah, I remember I'm from like Chicago, and now I live in Miami, Fort Lauderdale. Like, these are normal prices to me. Nothing seems out of pocket yet, except Shorty living in a shed for $1,100.
Chicken rice and beans.
Our food is here. We got some rice with some pork ribs, and she's having some
Barbecue chicken.
Let's dig in.
I will say the portion size might be a little bit crazy. I ain't even gonna hold you, but like I be in some restaurants, that portion size be weak too here. But yeah,
Caribbean food slaps.
Caribbean food's always
Tipping
expensive.
culture in UK is averagely okay. You don't necessarily have to tip. In the US, they make tipping something that is like, it's compulsory. You have to
Mandatory.
tip. And I'm like, is it your birthright? Are you the one that made this money for me? I worked hard and made this money. The same way you're also working at your job. At my job, nobody tips me. So why do I have to tip you? I feel like tipping should be something that should be done based on either maybe the level of professionalism or how good the service was. So I think
You're right. 100%. Like, you can get, like, me, I read, this is how, I'm from America. This is how I read receipts. The tip amount is a suggestion. That is the base. If you did your job at base level, that's what you can get. If I have no complaints, no nothing, that's what you will get. Now, if I have complaints, it will go down. Now, I know you can't help how long my food took. You know what I'm saying? You can't help it, but that is a factor. You know what I'm saying? How professional were you? Yes, exactly what you're saying. And if you have a problem or attitude and you like take it, stay home. Because you just gonna get madder at me because I'm tipping towards your personality. You better make it count. And I tip nice. I'm decent. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta be decent. Cause I leave no tip if you act up. You know what I mean?
London, the tipping service is not, they don't force you to tip. They recommend you tip, but they don't force you to tip.
No, we're forced.
So guys, after having an amazing meal, currently walking to the London Eye, which is a Ferris wheel that is so popular in London. One of the places in London I've always seen from when I was very young has been the London Eye. And I've always wondered what it would feel like
huge.
Riding on this London Eye.
That's huge. I think ours is like 50 feet less than that. I'll talk about ours. Well, Navy Pier in Chicago, we just recently redid ours within the last 7 years or something like that, and it was almost as big as the London Eye. It's a little bit smaller.
Kind of scared though.
You scared?
Are you scared of heights?
No.
Yes.
A little bit.
Face your fears today.
I am.
Such a beautiful view. Amazing.
See, I borderline a throw up. Like, I'm getting queasy looking at this.
What do you think about the view?
London is such a beautiful city. If you haven't been here before, like,
You need to come down here.
I'd recommend. Just this view alone is like.
Yeah.
I think my problem with heights is if I look directly down, it's a problem. But if I'm looking out, it's cool.
In London, you have to walk, and she's leading us. But you know what they say? Don't follow women sometimes, because she especially has a very bad sense of direction.
I live in Zone 4 and my office is in Central. I get to do over an hour of walking every morning, well, throughout the day anyways. And that's just to get to the office. So like train, walk, train, and then get to the office. But
It's not bad,
walking
actually.
for an hour, that's just like on the side beyond the ones that you do intentionally is a good thing.
That's healthy.
For me, I actually like it because I stay in Lagos, and here it's not a culture. First of all, because it's so sunny, and then there are no sidewalks. But in European countries and in places like London, using your legs is the last mile solution. So you constantly have to walk. And I think most of the times I was in Europe, it made me exercise more because walking is a form of exercise. And you get to walk even if you don't want to walk. If you don't have a scooter or if you don't have a bicycle, you just walk. And after a while, you get used to it, which is actually cool because it helps exercise your body. And I think that's also one of the reasons why people in Europe are much more healthier than people in America. Because in America,
Hey, chill out, buddy. Chill out. That's a myth. They big too in the UK. Y'all big over there. Y'all backs big too. That's a myth.
there's an obesity problem. In Europe, there's no obesity problem because people eat well and they also get to walk a lot.
That's sensational, cat.
One of the cool parts about London is, like I said, something is always happening everywhere. We're just walking past to the station now. I just found these guys. We're drumming. I found the station.
The architect there is nice. The skyline is
just
nice.
hyping London and saying, "Oh, London is so clean. London is so clean." And I came to London Bridge and look at the water. Just check it out.
It's terrible.
That does not look clean. That doesn't look clean at all.
The water is brown because it's just getting ready to wake up.
See, I
When
give
it
you,
wakes up,
see, I
it
give you an
turns blue.
explanation for why the water is bad. Water is bad because it's dirty.
It's
All this one
not
she said.
dirty.
This is not dirty.
It's
Can you
not
drink it?
dirty.
Can you drink it?
A little bit of like filter and salt.
No filter.
Listen, all you need is some honey. It tastes like tea. Honestly.
You're wildin', ma'am.
Try to
But I will give you some. Your baby hairs is hitting.
tested by Miss Sparkle.
Your shit sparkles. I check out all those locks. Too many locks on this bridge. I think it's kind of like similar to those bridges in other parts of the world where they just put their names. Like people lock their loved ones. This one has a heart on it. and then they throw the key into the river here. Sadly, most of them are broken up by now. Another thing about London that everybody complains about is the weather. The weather in London is usually very grey and depressing, and that's one of the reasons why
I like the weather. That's my favorite type of weather, man. I like 70 degrees type of guy. You know what I'm saying? When it gets hot in Chicago, it's amazingly hot. It's too hot. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm in Miami now, so it's just hot year round. You know, I'm black. I'm too dark for that. You know what I'm saying? I'm already tan. I don't need it.
I don't think I can live in London. I think a large part of the year has this grey weather, and it's something almost everybody in London complains about. Luckily, while I was there, I wasn't there during the period where they had this grey weather. So the weather was mostly summer. The weather was really sunny, which was good, but I understand what it means because I've been to Germany and the weather was grey. When the weather is grey, you know, everything is just moody. You just want to stay indoors. You don't want to go out. You don't see people going out. During this weather, it's like the sun basically just goes on vacation. It's like, I'm out of here, guys. I'm gone. So the weather is just like empty. There's no sun. So sad. Sorry. People that live in London, sorry. Sorry. People that live in London, sorry.
My bad, I was on mute. I said I'm not gonna lie, this is peak. This water is terrible right now. It looks terrible.
This is a place where we can get on a boat and take a ride along the River Thames. Finally on the boat. Let's talk a little bit about safety. There's this Family Guy cartoon that I always see where Stewie goes to London and they showed first time in London and he got stabbed. There's a lot of crime that happens in London. Guns are not allowed in London, so I think one of the major crimes that happens is people being stabbed.
In London, knife crime is up 34% in a year, with more than 13,000 offences.
Why do you carry a 15-inch knife?
Because it's big.
Throughout the time I was in London, I didn't experience any period where I felt unsafe. And I think mostly it's because of the areas that I was staying in. And I think most tourists wouldn't get to experience most of these. As always, you know, wherever it is that you're going to across the world, you just need to stay safe, keep your bags, watch your belongings, just be cautious.
100%. Always keep your head on a swivel no matter where you are, no matter how comfortable you feel.
About London is that just walking around, there's so much to see. And one of the things we want to see today is a museum. And there's a place called Tate Modern Museum, which we've been looking for a very long time. And we just found this one right here. And in it, you can see great art from around the world. So let's go and see if we can find anything from Africa there. You know, UK and Africa have a very interesting history. London is known for its museums and all the things that they discovered across the world. And when I say discovered, you know what I mean.
Stolen. What for?
Entry is actually free. You don't pay any money. You just go in. If you're somebody who loves art, you can come here to experience a lot of art from across the world. And it's a really nice place to go to. Usually they'll tell you can't film with your camera, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. Apparently, many of all these activities that I engaged in is not something a lot of people in London do. Like, I think there are different activities that are like for tourists, and there are different activities that are for people who live there. Because many of my friends...
That's how it is everywhere. Like, in Chicago, I've never been on that Ferris wheel. Barely even been to Navy Pier a couple times. Never been on the Sears Tower. Never seen the Bean in person. Like, I don't care. I live here. I don't care. You know what I'm saying?
That I spoke to who live in London have never been on the London Eye. They've never gone on the boat across the River Thames. They've never done any of all these activities. So I think that's one of the interesting things I saw about people in London. People don't get to experience the touristy activities in their country. But they should actually, because it's your country. If you live in a place, you should get to experience the touristy activities there.
It just doesn't seem fun.
Let's go. London in the house. Yeah.
Also, experiencing the community of London was amazing. I think London for me is like, it's kind of like a mini Lagos. Because there was a day I was working in London and I met over 30 people who knew me. And I'm like, oh wow, I didn't know I was this popular here. So many Nigerians, so many Africans in London. And I think this is one of the best things about London, is the fact that there's so much community here. Like everybody from across the globe is here. Because I was in London, I organized the meetup, met a lot of people, and I made them share their views about London.
That's cool of you.
How expensive is it to live in the UK?
Very expensive. So you need to be able to have a good income, because if you do not work, you'll be sleeping with hunger.
You have to pay for everything here.
You pay for electric bill, gas bill, water. You pay for the police. You pay for the healthcare.
I feel like that's normal. Healthcare is free too, isn't it?
You pay for the road.
I mean taxes, but like
You pay like a mortgage for your house.
London is super expensive. You know, when your currency is number one out of the top 3 most popular currencies in the world, which is pounds, euros, and dollars, you know that whatever you're spending, especially if you're coming from Africa, where most of the purchasing power isn't as strong, or if you're coming from Nigeria, where a pound is like 1,200 or something, I don't know, it keeps going up every day, you will know that, yeah, you have to be loaded. So stay in London, especially if you're staying in like the highbrow area, you need to have a lot of money.
Guys, how much does it cost to buy a property in London? This is it. Most of the properties I can see here are starting at £1 million. This is 1.750 million pounds for a 3-bedroom.
1.7 is crazy. It is along. It is anything along water is going to be expensive.
This is 1.8 million. This is 2 million. 2 million for a 3-bedroom in the view of the River Thames. If you want to buy property here, you need to have money. Plenty money.
Due to the fact that it's so expensive, there's the bad side of it where it's like there's a big homelessness problem too in London. It's not as visible as the one in New York where you see people on the streets and you see people that they don't have homes. I've seen a lot of videos or documentaries where you see like 15 people living in one tiny apartment or 20 people living in one house, and that's due to the fact that the rent is so expensive. Many people have to now sleep on bunk beds, and yeah, it's not a really cool sight to behold, but when a country or when a city is so expensive, this is part of what happens. This is what you get. People always talk about jackpot, and I've talked about this in a lot of interviews. I've asked a lot of people who either left the UK to come to Nigeria or Africa, or left Nigeria to go to the UK, that what does it feel like living here, and why is everybody running here?
I like the stability of the business in the UK. Someone can't come into my office today and shut down this building or knock down this building. That's not a possibility here.
Now that I've come to London, I understand why a lot of people leave Nigeria or leave other African countries to go to London or to go to the UK to live.
One thing I like about UK is that it has a lot of opportunities, and also the law. There is rule of law, so the law can always work for you.
This is a very interesting topic because everybody,
or so you believe,
has their own different opinions on it. But one of the reasons I feel I understand now that people leave Nigeria or leave Africa to go and live in London is the fact that the system works. The healthcare system works, the transportation system works. If you're setting up a business, it also works.
So do you think it's worth it paying all that money?
I would say yes, because you get a lot of structure, right? Everything kind of makes sense, there's
I don't know, I like London, but I wouldn't want to live there, low-key. Maybe just to experience it for a season or something like that, but like I'm more like Manchester, Leeds, Liverpool, you know what I'm saying, Yorkshire, like something over there, you know what I'm saying.
Less unpredictability, things move along smoother, it's less stressful because you know what you get.
I guess I gotta experience it to see
with what you're paying for.
You have that sense.
I am a city boy, though, so
that if anything happens, there is somebody that you can talk to. There are several things I've been able to do, people I've been able to meet, places I've been able to go that, for me, I probably would not have done if I wasn't living in London.
The more I discover the world, the more I realize that there is so much to see, and every city has its own unique story to tell. I look forward to visiting London again to experience more of what this fantastic city has to offer. And guys, those are my thoughts below.
It was cool. He did a good little breakdown of it, man. But you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go. I'm gonna do this type stuff when I go to low key. Till I leave a like, comment, I'm go.